All right, good morning, traders. Today is November 14th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you to everybody in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Appreciate everybody following and liking the content, leaving the kind words. Appreciate that. And love it when people share it. So, special shout out to Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted for sharing the content. Love that. Helping get the good word out there, spread the word. Thank you so much. All right, let's take a look at the markets today. See how we plan to trade SPY, see what happened yesterday. All right. Today is November 14th, 2025. My name is John Carrigan. My SPY pivot this morning, 672.75 above it, 673.75. I think that's 673. That's 673.75. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. SPY, FNGU, IWM, and QQQ made lower highs and lower lows, closing under their traps and under their 17 EMAs. Diamond Dow made also lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap. Under a bullish trap, but over the 17 EMA. SPY closed with a 2-hour downtrend, 10-minute bearish consolidation. Gold now in an uptrend thought that made an inside day. Made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Silver in a daily uptrend as well, made an inside day, closing over the bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. Inside day, that's a lower high and a higher low. USO in a daily downtrend, made an inside day, again, lower high, higher low, closing under a bearish trap and under the 17. UNG in a daily uptrend, made a higher high and a higher low, closing over the bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. US dollar index still in the bear flag, but in a daily uptrend. Closed near the 99.24 area. SPY max pain is 674 with a put to call ratio of about 2 puts for each call that expires today. So we'll see what happens there. All right, so if this is your first time right here in the BYOB room or listening to the videos, these are all in daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. These are all in daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. If this has a star next to it, it's building out a launch pad or a bull flag from which to launch higher. If this has a star like that, if it has a star over here next to it, it's building out a platform from which to, or a bear flag, that's from which to dip lower. So you can see VTYX still got the star on there. That's building out a launch pad from which to launch higher. All right, let's take a look at SPY this morning. In the pre-market, okay, we have a 10-minute downtrend. Looks like it's about to get pinched off right now with a pullback to possibly VWAP here. We'll see. There's SPY on the 10-minute. Let's take a look at the 2-hour. Yesterday, we came into the close. We had bearish 10-minute consolidation. You can see we were up, down, and then back up. So we really didn't make any headway on this. So I'm just going to call it 10-minute bearish consolidation, being since price moved down and then over to the right. So in the post market, nothing but more bearish consolidation under VWAP right through there. All right, and then in the pre-market we have a move down and possibly getting pinched off right now. So we'll see what happens. 10-minute in the pre-market activity, still got that 10-minute downtrend under VWAP right now. Let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. 2-hour chart, you can see we clearly left off with, you can see the price candles on top of the 3 EMA. That is the yellow line right here. So 3 EMA tucked up underneath the 8 EMA, which is the white line. So we have ourselves a 10-minute, a 2-hour downtrend coming into the close yesterday and a continuation of it early this morning. So maybe some more candles lower. We'll see what happens. On the daily chart, we're still in our downtrend until we break this high right here. If we break that high, we will negate the downtrend and convert the uptrend. All right, so still in a daily downtrend, but we're up here at the top of quadrant 4. So I'm still bullish on some of price action. Just need to see an uptrend. If they start taking out some of this consolidation right through here, I'm going to have to say it's probably going to be game over. Right now, we're showing a bearish head and shoulders pattern, okay, which is this is the head. That's the right shoulder. These would be the left shoulder. So we'll see what happens here. We also have a trend line that needs to be placed in here. So I don't want to break this trend line right there, okay? Breaking that trend line, probably want to be a bear if I get underneath that trend line right there. So that's a daily chart. Weekly chart still in an uptrend. Monthly chart still in an uptrend right there. Okay, monthly chart, you can see all the green dots and the price action with the candles riding up on top of the 3 over the 8 EMA. You got all the green dots, monthly uptrend right there on SPY. All right, my favorite trade is not going to happen today, and that's when the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP resides inside of the 2-hour uptrend that lives inside of the daily uptrend, inside the weekly uptrend, inside the monthly uptrend. Not going to have that over the all-time high anchored VWAP. So you can see that's not going to happen today because the daily is not technically in an uptrend, and neither is the 2 hours. So both in downtrends right now. So probably not going to get that. So, but the weekly and the monthly are still intact, and they're still bullish right through there. All right, let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ monthly still in an uptrend, obviously with the green dots. We have not made a lower low on the monthly. Weekly still in an uptrend. We have not made a lower low on the weekly, breaking below the 17 EMA. You can see all the candlesticks right here riding up on top of the 3 riding over the 8 riding over the 17. Got daylight between the 3 and the 8, daylight between the 8 and the 17. Everything pointed up. Now they're starting to roll over. You can see they're starting to hook right now on the bigger time frames. Daily chart for QQQ. Let me make sure I got the right candle. That's the 14th. Lower high, lower low. Closing underneath the bearish trap underneath the 17 EMA. Again, got to put that trend line in there and see what happens with that. Okay, so start closing candles underneath the trend line. We're going to look for a break of the rubber band candle. All right, and if they break that, I'm pretty much going to be in a. We're already in a downtrend, but that's gonna probably turn me into a bear if that happens. All right, so there's QQQ daily chart. Right now, putting in a spike candle today. Yesterday, lower high, lower low, closing under the bearish trap, under the 17. We're still up here in quadrant 4, so I'm still bullish on price, but I'm starting to see some sector rotation. So this might be it for tech. Tech usually leads all the rallies. So without tech behind us, it's going to be hard to make new all-time highs. Although we may consolidate up here in the upper third, that's a possibility. We'll see what happens with QQQ. 2-hour chart, candlesticks and the 3 riding underneath the 8 riding underneath the 17. Got a 2-hour downtrend. You can see daylight between the 3 and the 8, daylight between the 8 and the 17. All 3 are pointed down. Candlesticks, the 3 EMA, 8 EMA, and the 17. So 2-hour downtrend on QQQ. 10-minute bearish consolidation. As you can see, price comes down and just moves over to the right. You could call it a 10-minute uptrend. It's not a very strong uptrend. It's not even over VWAP yet. But you can see the 3 and the 8. 3 and the candlesticks are riding up on top of the 8. Some of those candlesticks you can see clearly intersect the 8, and some of them are even underneath the 8 as we're starting this 10-minute uptrend. I'm going to call it more bearish consolidation. Probably consolidation under prior consolidation. So we got a bearish move down. In the pre-market, got a 10-minute downtrend. Again, candlesticks in the 3, riding up underneath the 8. All 3 of them riding underneath the falling 17. 10-minute downtrend. into the open this morning. So we'll see what happens. Into the close last night, like I said, 10-minute bearish consolidation where we just move down underneath this consolidation through here and then over to the right. So that's QQQ. Let's take a look at the daily chart for IWM. And that's this candle right here, lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, under the 17. IWM showing a bearish head and shoulders, and in a daily downtrend because they haven't made any higher highs yet. So IWM in a daily downtrend. And up there in quadrant 4, it's bullish. They look like they're weak. That's all I can say. They're probably going to have to come all the way back to this consolidation here and test that. So it looks like a test of both this anchored VWAP and a test of right there. It looks like that's in store, unless, of course, we get some economic data that causes a flood of buying. We'll see what happens. I really don't see that till maybe end of November. A lot of that, what do they call it, monthly contributions, that come from employees' wages in order to put them in their 401ks and their investment funds. All right, those guys wind up getting that money right at the end of the month or the first part of December or the end of November. So we'll see what happens with that. So there's IWM on the daily chart in a downtrend, kind of breaking the head and shoulders pattern right here. Got a left shoulder. Well, actually got a right shoulder, and here's the shoulder neckline. There's another neckline, and you can see price breaking down right through there. So there's IWM. Diamond Dow puts in, that's this candle right here, the big one, not this one. Okay, lower high, lower low, closing under a bear bullish trap, but over the rising 17. Top of quadrant 4, that's still bullish, still in an uptrend for Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at FNGU. FNGU is a lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. FNGU about to break in the pre-market here, major support. That would be very bad. Things are definitely falling apart and showing us a bearish head and shoulders pattern. This would be the right shoulder, this would be the left shoulder, and this is the head looking for price to come down to this area right down here. So there's FNGU in a downtrend, still up here in the bullish territory, but just doesn't have the right stuff. Got a bearish pattern setting up there. So there's FNGU on the daily chart. Downtrend currently in FNGU. Let's take a look at silver and gold. Gold yesterday, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. That's bullish and in an uptrend up there. Silver putting in a lower high, an inside day, and closing over the bullish trap over the 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Up there at the top of quadrant 4, that's bullish and still in an uptrend. UNG trying to climb on top of that 2025 high anchored VWAP right there. Price action yesterday is higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. Trying to break out of quadrant 1 finally, all right, after a couple of months here of hanging out inside quadrant 1, making new all-time lows. So there's UNG on the daily chart. Uptrend, all right, but still in quadrant 1, so that's bearish. But in an uptrend, and they very well could break out and make their way back to the midpoint. That would be nice. We'll see what happens. That'd be a nice move. But in an uptrend and bearish, still in quadrant 1 right there, okay? So, again, SPY, QQQ, they're still in quadrant 1. They're still bullish, but they're losing it quickly. So there's UNG. Let's take a look at USO. USO, be this candle right here, got an inside day. That's a higher low, lower high, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. Still in a downtrend, has not made any higher highs, still stuck underneath this downtrend line. USO neutral, not in the lower third, not in the upper third, so just neutral here at the midpoint. That's USO. Let's take a look at our technicals. T2101. Okay, so the market pulled down yesterday. We gained some breath from the beginning of the day, and then we lost it as price sold off all day long. So there's our market breath. Let's take a look at T2122. What a disappointment. We could not hold the higher ground. Price action falls out of the buyer's chop zone down to the midpoint, and then makes a series of micro lows, okay, lower lows and lower highs to just melt right into the sell zone. So we came from the buy zone day before all the way into the sell zone and landing here in the sell zone yesterday. Not a good look, all right? So we may find ourselves in the oversold zone today based on pre-market activity with everything trading lower. That's T2122. T2123 puts in a lower high. See the rollover? Still over the 200 SMA. I like that. I don't know where they're going to be this morning, but I'm looking at futures. I'm looking at pre-market SPY price action. I got to tell you, it looks like we're having another bearish gap down and then a move lower. We'll see what happens. There's the 15-minute of chart of T2123. We have a low here. We made a lower low. We're in a downtrend now. We're up over the 200 SMA, but I don't think we're going to hold that for another 10 minutes anyways. I think we find ourselves down here underneath the 200 SMA again. Again, not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear, and I'm not a bear. So that's T2123. Down here, still at the bottom of quadrant 1. Okay, this is the all-time high. This is the first pullback low. Okay, and then we made a lower low right there on, well, November 7th. Right there, made a lower low on T2123. Still no higher highs yet on 15-minute chart. Let's take a look at the 3-bar chart. Again, quadrant 1 is bearish. Again, you can see 15-minute and the 3-bar from the perspective of the all-time high down here in quadrant 1. That would be bearish. 3-bar chart underneath the 200 SMA. Not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear, not a bear. So you can see this is not good down here in quadrant 1. That's bearish. All right, we've got a all-time high, we got a lower high, we got an even lower high, and then we just put in an even lower high. Okay, so we got a low, and then we put in a lower low, still in a downtrend here on the 3-bar chart. Okay, so things kind of looking like they're rolling over. We'll see how far this goes. We still got some more earnings to pay attention to, but I don't know if there might be too much damage done to the market for AVGO when they report, to pull the market back up, or Broadcom. I think that's the same thing. FNGU underneath 200 SMA again. In the pre-market, you can see clearly we're down here tackling the major support. Do not want to break major support. Need major support to hold. All right, so there's FNGU on the 15-minute. Yesterday's price action is a series of lower lows. So we're in a downtrend. We're underneath the 200 SMA again. So that's FNGU on the 15-minute chart. Let's take a look at the economic package. And we'll look at Max Payne. Max Payne for today, 674. Put to call ratio, about 2 puts for each call on the options that do expire today. Okay, so that's for today's price action. On the dollar, still in an uptrend, making a low. You can see we make a higher low here. All right, got a high, and we made a higher high, higher low, another higher high. So we're still in an uptrend on the US dollar, but keep in mind we're still in this bear flag. You can see where price comes down from this high down to this low and then moves over to the right. So still in a bear flag, but currently in a daily uptrend with little micro higher lows and higher highs on the U.S. dollar. Earnings for today, nothing really here is going to be market moving. Just some familiar names, but nothing market moving going to be reported today. Economic calendar. What a cluster of you know what I'm saying of activity here due to the government shutdown. We're not getting some numbers. We're getting some numbers delayed. We're getting all kinds of not getting the economic numbers. That may be part of the sell-off. Okay, maybe eventually we get some economic numbers and the market feels more confident. But we were supposed to get CPI yesterday. It got delayed. Supposed to get jobless claims yesterday. Did not. It got delayed. This morning, I don't know if we're going to get it. PPI final demand, 8:30. Retail sales, 8:30. Business inventories, 10. Gas report, which normally comes Thursday at 10:30. Going to be reported Friday. I'm not sure if we're going to get it. 10:30 on Friday. And then a rig count at 1 p.m. like always. Okay, so that's it for the economic calendar. Let's visit the game plans. So let's go back to QQQ and let's take a look at the game plan for QQQ. All right, QQQ game plan. Let's open it up here on the 10-minute. We've got currently got a 10-minute downtrend. All right, I'm going to trade the 10-minute downtrend, a continuation of the 10-minute downtrend. Looking for a red candle to get into. That's for me. All right, unless the 10-minute downtrend ends, and then I won't get into it, but I will wait for the 10-minute downtrend to resume if it does get pinched off. But I'm looking for a 10-minute downtrend. So I want a red candle, no green candles, because I'm trading a downtrend. A little extended here this morning. I don't want any spinning tops. Don't want any doji candles. Don't want any hammers. Okay. Don't want any bullish hammers anyways. Okay. Don't want any sword candles. So anything that's got more tail than body and wick, not interested in that because that tells me bullish control, and I'm not interested in bullish control. I'm looking for something that has bearish control, like a nice red candle. Nothing with, again, like I said, more tail than body and wick to enter in on this 10-minute chart. So you can see we've got 10-minute downtrend, candles riding on the 3. All right, 3, and the candles riding under the 8. All right, that's the white line, and all 3 of them riding underneath the 17 and under pre-market VWAP right now. All right, so we've got 612 is a green erases red entry. Pivot is 609.55. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Below 606, that's a red erases green entry down there. 606.45 is an entry to break lower. We're already lower, so we're going to look for the continuation of the 10-minute downtrend. And this is up here is a green erases red over 612.85. That's a green entry for the bulls. Price has to get over 612.85, and that would be green erases red right there on QQQ. We got one for SPY. I'm sure the pivot's going to be messed up again, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, it is. Again, the pivot is 673.75. And I know it says 672 there. It is 673.75. Make sure we get that right. There we go. Okay, above it I'm a bull, below it I'm a bear. Red erases green over 676.50. Green erases red over 676.50. Red erases green underneath 670.70. Again, we're already below it, So I'll be looking to trade a continuation of the 10-minute downtrend. If that gets pinched off, then I will look for a 10-minute uptrend to participate in. Again, I'll be looking for at least a couple candles showing me some kind of bullish control on a pullback up to uh, the um, the close for yesterday. So a little gap fill. You can see we're gapping down right now. You can see this is 672.15. All right, and we're gapping down well below 672.15 down here at 665 or maybe lower 660 664.99 right there on SPY. So that's my plan. Like to trade the continuation of the 10-minute downtrend. Going to definitely mark off the first 15 minutes. Trade the breakout for that. Fridays are notorious for, I don't know, chomping around and just making a lot of decay happen. And a lot of if they're not doing that, they're doing a lot of wild activity. All right. And in between there, they're making quick moves to their targets and then camping out when they get there. So Fridays are really not some of my best days. So again, be careful trading today. Could get whippy and wild. We'll see what happens. All right, traders, that's it. I'll see everybody in about 30 minutes and actually in about 45 minutes, and we'll open up the markets.